Welcome to the Cables, Lights, and Tales podcast. My name is Sue, and I am a maker from northwestern Wisconsin. I'm watching the leaves blow out my window that way. So, I have more of a show and tell today than a works in progress catch up, but let's get at it, why don't we? First, I'm going to talk about my works in progress. I did work on the Sailor Swift top, but not really much. I got maybe a round or two done, so I'm not going to show that. I will show two other things, and then maybe I'll work on the third. For a wrap up on the dishcloths, I am presently, for the month, I need 25, and right now I am sitting at 9 fully completed, and I'm on number 10. Total, I need 16 more to meet the 25 not deadline, amount that I need. It's been a long day. Work was great, but there you go. So I need 16 more to get to my finished total of 70 dishcloths. Presently, I'm working on number 10 for the month. And so, yes, I am cruising along. Now, I do have something to talk about here and stuff about here. But first, let's talk about the wrist warmer. Last week, I stated that I bought some more Pool, which is the blue color, and that I was going to rip back and change. I don't even know which way is which anymore. I was going to rip back and change because I was running out of blue, and so I had orange on top and blue on bottom, and I was really nervous about ripping back, but I ripped back, and it was easier than I thought it would be. And then I cast on the second one. I am literally like right after this little bit of color work, and I just did that's my dog in the background, one round of blue. I didn't even steam my yarn or anything. I just left it as is and knit with it, and it's fine. And this is a practice, essentially. And I won't be like, well, I may or may not be counting the stitches in this area, because essentially these two are gauge swatches for me to see if I can get the 17 inches per 2 inches. This one measured 19 inches per 2 inches using US 0 or a 2 millimeter, and I'm using my US 1 or there. I don't remember what the US 1 or 2.25 millimeter. I like the double pointed needles. These are my Zing needles. They do have a blunt tip. They may not work for every colorwork project, but they're just fine for this. And I also use these to make my socks, a different size though. I have quite a bit of orange left. I did not buy any orange, but I did buy Pool. Now, the book I am using is called Knit Like a Latvian, and I'm doing the Morning Star wrist warmers. I'm gonna just show the finished picture. And in this book by Ieva Ozolina, she states to do a gauge swatch by making wrist warmers before you do mittens or fingerless mitts. It's a really nice book. The one caveat is that there are, I'm just gonna go like this. There are no numbers on the side or on the bottom, so that's my one. I wish they had numbers. It would just be a little easier, but otherwise it's easy to follow along the patterns. I do use my, Post-its whenever I can. So, yes, successfully frogged something that I was so afraid of frogging because it can be really, really nerve-wracking to do something that you've never done. But I just took my time, and it did take some time. And then I'll just put this one on. I have not weaved in the ends fully. I did wet block this to see, about the stitch count, but I have not wet blocked it again, because I had to rip out to right before this round of orange diamonds. And I did it, and I was very proud. So, and my cat watched me intently. So, that's that. Yes. Now, I will show you the pool in a second, but that is a great accomplishment, and I'm very, very happy. There was a couple days during this week that I was just like, I want to just take a break from dishcloths. And I remembered from last week, I was thinking about this. I have a memory like a steel trap, knock on wood, that it stays. So last week I had only finished 3 for my month of 25, and I was on number 4. And after the podcast, I finished my 4th, and then now I finished, so essentially I finished 4.5, oh no, hon, my cat, 4.5 dishcloths in a week, which is pretty good. I mean, it's not my best amount, but it's pretty good, and I'm working on number 10. I started that this morning, but I just needed some palette cleansers. I'm hot. I just needed to be able to work on something else that brought me joy. And last night I decided that I got home, lots of errands and whatnot. I got home and I had a block of time, and I was like, I'm gonna work on my vegetable patch cardigan. And just to see, I always like to sit down and do one full repeat of the pattern, which is an 8-row repeat. Then I measured, and I need to do approximately, I'm between 4 and 5 inches right now, and I need to be between 9 and 10 inches. So I don't know if I need to do 2 more full repeats or 1.5 or whatever it may be. So that's where I was last time I talked, that little pink thing. It's a very easy pattern to memorize. It's only doing the cable on 1 row, and then you do a slip stitch pattern as well. And I'm using the color Shire Heather, and the wool is Wool of the Andes worsted weight. Now, it's very sheepy smelling. It is very soft. This is actually a jacket, although I call it a cardigan. We'll see how it ends up, because maybe it'll be more of a jacket. I'm using US size 6, and I'm using my Knitter's Pride Zing, or, well, they were Knitter's Pride when I bought them. I think they're called Knit Pro now. They work just fine for this cabling pattern. They are a blunt tip. So if the blunt tip is not conducive to, say, lace work or cables, you'll need a pointier needle. But for this pattern, they're working out great. And I got that pattern out of my Homestead Cables book, and it is by, I don't remember her name, Annie Howard. And she used the tweed version of wool, there you go, the tweed version of Wool of the Andes, and it kind of does look like a jacket. But I just wanted a nice cardigan sort of thing. So I worked on that for a little bit, 2 different times during the past week, and I was like, yay. Now, I rarely talk about acquisitions because, to each their own, right? Last year, I participated in the Knit Picks 2 for $6 sale. Actually, I've participated in many, many years. So last year, I still haven't even taken these out of the packaging. I got 10 skeins of Wool of the Andes worsted tweed. This is the color Mineral. And this is the color Barn Door, I believe. Yeah, Barn Door. It's a nice, I'm not taking them out of the packaging. Nice deep red. And I thought when I was looking online that these two would make a great striped sweater. But when I got them in person, there's very low contrast between the two. And so I kind of just held on to these. Now, these last year were $2 a skein, but I was limited to getting only 10. And I was like a little bummed. That's why I was thinking stripes, because I need maybe not a full 20 skeins for a sweater, depending on what I make. Cables always make you use more yarn. It's kind of like crochet. You use so much yarn in crochet compared to knitting. So I decided this year I was going to buy some, if it came up and I could find the colors that I wanted, etc., etc., the $2 for $6 sale, which happens annually in November, the beginning of November. You have to get on their email mailing list, and then they send it out. It's awesome. It is awesome. The yarn that is in this container, I had to cover it because the cats are being sassy. I saved so much money. So let's see how much money I saved. Okay, I'm gonna bring it closer so I can reach in. And, oh shoot, I just ripped it. All right, so because I bought yarn, they did send me a couple free gifts, which are super cute. They're pins. And one's a cat. No, it looks like a cat. It's knitting in a little pin. And the other one is a unicorn, which is super duper cute. And it's a crochet hook. I may give one to my daughter. I haven't decided at this time. Now, I will just go from back to forward. Okay, so I got this color palette. It's called Cornmeal. Some stuff I bought to go for color work in the future because I have a lot of palette. And I bought 4 of these because what if I needed a dominant color? Everything I got in this bin was $2 a piece. Okay, so I got 4 of those. I got 4 of the pool because I really like this color. And then I got 2 hollyberry, which, I mean, look at that. It's just so pretty to have a splash of this with the cornmeal. Oh, so pretty. Would it look good with blue? Ooh, good contrast. And then you can never have enough black, no matter what. So I do have 2 of this Stellar Heather, I think it's called. Yeah, Stellar Heather, which is their black. It's not a true black, but it's black enough. So I got 4. Now I have 6, okay? And then the big one that I got, which I really debated on. I thought I really like having a knit palette cardigan or a sweater, and this is called Iris Heather, and it has all the different colors like the iris flower, and I got 12 of these. Okay, so I mean, this is Proving Highland Wool and Fingering Weight. I am not a Knit Picks affiliate person. I'm just really a fan. Anyway, per 50 gram skein, you get 231 yards. Okay. Yeah, made in Peru. Anyway, I have not seen any sign of any bug in any of my stuff. I did have to keep this outside for 3 or 4 nights due to circumstances. So, if there was anything, it got down below 0, or freezing, so yay. Okay, so I wrote everything down on my little sheet here. I'm going to first talk about it. So I bought 26 skeins of yarn. Yeah? Let me see. I did count this before. 4, 8, 10, 14 plus 12 is 26. I bought 26 skeins of pallet yarn for $2 a piece, which would be $52. Normally, they're $5.49, and that would have been $142. So I'm just going to hold it right there. So I saved $90 buying this when it was on sale. You know, hot dog. So happy. Then I decided, well, I really want to get some more tweed yarn to go with the other tweed yarn. So I thought, well, I went to the little window, like you can, you know, click down and it says how many you can buy. And you could buy more than 20. But I bought 20 of, what is it called? I think it's Down Heather. So it's kind of like a creamy gray, beigey tweed. And I thought two things. One, I can make a striped sweater using these two, or a striped sweater using these two, or I can make a variety of striped sweaters using all three. And I have now more than enough for 2 sweaters. So that's why I bought 20 of these. So normally, sorry for all the crinkles, Wool of the Andes tweed is $5.99 a skein. And I got it for $2.99 or $2 a skein. So this was $40. However, if I had bought it full price, it would be $119.80. So I saved, let me just hold the middle, I saved $79.80. I mean, you can't go wrong. So then I do have, this is Wool of the Andes regular worsted. I do have 2 of this color already from a previous purchase, and I like having this light blue for color work. So I just got 2 more because sometimes you need 3.5 skeins for color work, and I only had 2. And then I decided to buy, this is a big one, 15 of this color Opal Heather. Yes, Opal Heather. And it's this kind of grayish, but it has all these different purples and light greens. And I'm attracting a kitty right now. Each of these skeins is 110 yards and 50 grams. So I thought, what am I going to make out of this? You know? Okay. I knew that the pool was going to go perfectly for color work, as well as my fingerless mitts or wrist warmers. And then I was like, okay, so, you know, I have some stock here for the future. Like, what if? What if I need it for this? What if I need it for that? And then I was thinking, well, what about different sweaters? And now I was looking online. I have a lot of patterns, but I saw the Felix pullover a while ago, and it really struck my fancy. I'm like, okay, well, that's an option, you know. Wait. I'm jumping over a spot. I got so excited because I want to make things. And I'm so excited that I'm really close to being done with dishcloths that I got too far ahead of myself. So Wool of the Andes worsted, I bought 17 skeins in total for $2 a piece, which is $34. Normally they're $4.99 a piece, which then would have been, if I bought 17 at the regular price of $4.99, it would have been $84.83. So I saved on that $50.83. So all in all, if I had bought all this yarn, which is a total of, how many? 17, 37, 37 plus 26 is 13. Wait, 37 plus 26. 63 yarn, or 63 skeins of yarn. If I paid full price for all of this yarn, I would have paid $346.63. But because of my $2 sale, I spent $126. I know it's still a lot of money, but now I am set for the future in making the things I cannot wait to make. I have been wanting to make the striped sweater by Kuko Kavika, the stripe hype sweater. And if I made it with all three colors, I would just kind of figure out how I wanted it. Would I do it in these black color patterns like she has, or would I like, you know, down mineral, down barnyard, you know, mix it up? I'm not 100% sure, but I do know I want to make one of these. And then, like with the opal yarn, which is wool of the Andes, is technically, they have sport weight and worsted weight. And the worsted weight wool of the Andes, I'm going to just pull one up here. I mean, it is worsted, but it's a light worsted. I have found that I can get DK measuring using wool of the Andes, or I can go all the way up to a worsted weight, depending on the needle size I use. Like with my vegetable patch cardigan, which I'm using wool of the Andes, I'm using size 6 needles, and with this cable pattern, I got 25 stitches per 4 inches, which is pretty good. Now, I don't have it on me right now, but my Frankie sweater, I got, I think it was like 18 stitches per 4 inches using like a US 8 needle. So, I know I'm a little scatterbrained right now. I'm so excited. I am just so excited. Super duper excited. Now, oops. Inga from Knitting Traditions, she's from Norway, and she's quite popular. If you are aware of the knitting world, then you probably know her as well. But she came up with her own sweater called the Freya sweater, which also means Inga, she said, which is pretty cool. Now, you can look on Ravelry. That's where I bought it. And it has like a cable detail down here. And I don't think it, I haven't read the pattern all the way through, but I know I've listened to her talk about it quite a bit. You do not have to use a cable needle. There is a way to do it just by your regular needles. It is a raglan. Let's see. It's a raglan sleeve, and it comes down here. She has a lot of different sizes, and she needs a 21 stitch gauge, which means you can use any type of yarn for this pattern. And she has multiple samples done in like fingering to DK to sport to worsted, just as long as you get the 21 stitches per 4 inches, which is super cool. She has made short sleeve, she's made turtleneck, she's made, you know, open neck, she's made cropped, she's made full sweater length. It's a very versatile pattern. And I'm thinking about using the opal heather for this. I would have enough yarn for sure. So that's one idea. Two, there's always the ranunculus. I've been wanting to make this for so long and haven't. I have lots of variety of yarn, or I could use other yarn and make one for my daughter. And then, oh, I didn't bring it out. I have lots of other pattern books that I could draw from and make something. Sometimes I'm thinking with the palette Iris Heather, since I have so much of this, I bought 12 skeins, and 10 skeins would be 2,310. So I have another, we're just gonna round up, another 460, 2,000. I have almost 2,500 yards of this color, which you could split up and make two different things, or something cable-y. And I am always leaning towards cardigans because they come in handy, and sometimes you're hot at work and sometimes you're not hot at work. When I was working yesterday, I was wearing one of my sweaters and I had to take it off. Thankfully, I wore a t-shirt underneath it because I was tempted to wear a tank top. But I'm working on something in the library that is extremely dirty, and I didn't want to get my nice sweater dirty. Anyway, I am very happy with this sale. This sale is kind of a lifesaver in some ways. If you can't afford a lot of yarn, even Red Heart yarn at Walmart is more expensive than their 2 for $6 sale. One year I did splurge, and I think I got the $4 yarn, and I got a bunch of mohair. I don't do that very often. I usually stick to the $2 level, but I have some knitting plans ahead. I'm getting done with my stuff that I am working on. Now, oh, she hit her head. This past Sunday, my daughter and I went to the paint shack in 4-H, and I got a lot of compliments on my painting. So the paint shack is a place where you can pick out a painting. So I picked out something very similar to this. It was a larger canvas, but we had a deal for this size. And we sit down, and the club was participating, and my daughter made something. I'm not going to show it because that's her stuff. And she picked out hers, I picked out mine, and we sat there and we painted. And when I started, you get a paper plate, and she gives you all the colors, and then she says, you know, when you show her the picture that you picked out, then she picks out the colors that were part of that picture, except for black. Black is last. Black you have to earn. That's what she says. And then she gave me a lot of white so I could make blends. And then she said that the hard part of this painting was the orange and the blue placement. And I said, okay, I got that point. Now, I never realized my entire life, I never realized how much I like painting. I love it. I don't know if it is the simplicity of seeing something and then kind of imitating it, or if it's because I have stared at the sky all of my life, and when it's like in this kind of hue and just beautiful sunset, or that beginning of the changing of the seasons, you know, kind of like my dishcloths. This is what it kind of reminds me of, those dishcloths that I was talking about last week. Anyway, when it's like this, or, you know, recently, I was going to Target, and it was right before the time change. My cat is rubbing herself on the table. That's why everything is moving. so I was by myself and I had to run and get some stuff at Target right after supper, and I wanted to get home really fast, and I got out of the car and I just stopped and looked at the sky, and it just like was so beautiful. And I was smiling, and someone was watching me and then they smiled at me and it was funny. But anyway, I love this guy. So when I saw this painting on the wall, I'm like, I'm going to do it this time. I've been too afraid of doing trees like this in the past. This is my third time doing it, and I've only done it once a year. So before I put the black on, everyone was commenting how beautiful my blending was. The teacher was quite amazed on how I did it. So, and I said, oh, I don't think I'm quite done. So she gave me a little bit more paint, and then I added this, and I think that extra little pink really helped. But then I graduated to black, and I did my trees, and I think I really screwed up on this one, but I fixed it. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Now, I don't always have time, or I shouldn't say I don't have time. I don't allow myself the time, or I don't feel like I deserve the amount of time that it takes to paint something at home. Whereas you go to a place and you pay it's normally $25, but because we were with the 4-H, I got a discount of 5. So I paid $20 for about 2.5 hours of sitting there and painting. In 2.5 hours, if you're at home, you sometimes think to yourself, that's a long time. I should probably be doing laundry, or I need dishes that need to be done, or you understand. So it was a lot of fun, and I would go there in a heartbeat again. And yeah, so that's about it for this week. I have a little show and tell. I had a little bit of project updates and some future endeavors. Maybe I will sit down during winter and make my daughter sit with me, and maybe we'll paint some more, because I did buy some canvases from Amazon, and on the hopes of it inspiring me to sit down and paint, because there's just something about painting and knitting and sewing, even cooking or baking or working in the garden, that tactile hand and mind, it's the spice of life. Anyway, so yes, if you sign up for Nitpicks email stuff, you will find out about their $246 sale, or they have it usually in the beginning of November. I think they had it in the summer last year too, because that's when I bought the mohair. I splurged around my birthday. So it came really quick. It was fastest shipping I've ever had from them. And yeah, great times. So other than that, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. Thank you for watching my videos. I truly appreciate it. If you do find this content enjoyable, please hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. It would put it out there more, and then, we can all learn from one another. Because if it wasn't for designers or people who knit, like, Kuka Kavika or Inga from Knitting Traditions, or, any of the other people I follow, Sari Nordlund, even AKA Nor Knits, or Retro Claude, or Engineering Knits. Now I could just go on and on and on, or Young Folk Knits, or I Hand Knit Letter. They all inspire me. I also like Cozy Books and Knits. She's pretty fun too. She's from England. There's just something about an English voice that reminds me of my grandma, who was from England, and makes me so happy. Hello, baby. How are you? Tallulah says, thank you for stopping by. We all hope that you have a great day. Take care. Have fun. Bye for now.